These interviews in no way reflect the views of Arrayas Productions. This project is in no way endorsed by Arrayas Productions. As students in a continuous state of learning and frequency accretion, we each hold our own unique perspective of the teachings and how they relate to our individual experiences. It is important for viewers to remember that we are in fact self-sovereign beings with free will expression, and we each carry our own perceptual filters with potential for distortion. These interviews are intended to inspire, and in no way should reflect upon Aisha, Arrayas Productions, or any of her work, as there is no affiliation. More information on the Alhambra Magistracy Council of Cosminius, the Melchizedek Cloister Emerald Order, Tantri Aura, Tantri Asia, and the Keylontic Science can be found in the provided links below. Okay, we're back with Ken. And how do you pronounce your full name?
Ken André Røvik Storøy.
Okay, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, how old you are, and some of your history, what you're into, hobbies and stuff.
I'm 22 years old. I live in Norway. My hobbies are playing video games, primarily Battlefield 4, and yeah, the other things I do is just learn new stuff. Yeah.
I'll make sure this is recording. Have you heard of eVayer? Oh, there it goes. Looks like it's recording. Have you heard of eVayer?
No.
It's like it's for Skype. It records video and audio.
Okay.
So I started messing with the codecs on here because I always have to do a file conversion after every interview to work with Vegas in the video editing. And I forgot to change the codec back because I was trying to figure out how to not have to convert the file to make it compatible with Vegas. And I failed miserably. I went through 2 whole interviews and it didn't record a thing. So everything just flatlined for a while. And I started looking at like, how could I have done this? Like I never let things like that go ever. Like I'm always making sure my software is working. Any type of thing that's not working, I try to fix it right away. You know, that's just my nature. Learning about computers and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And so I was just talking to, do you know Stefan Redding? Have you heard any of the interviews?
Yeah, I've listened to some of them, but some of them are really long, so I couldn't bother.
Oh yeah, I know. Some of them are like way long. Looks like I'm frozen up. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, so I was just talking to him about it, and he kind of helped me reflect on it and think of like, well, what was happening at that time when all this was going on. And I looked back, he told me to take 3 breaths and sit and ask and meditate on it. Just ask the question, like, why did this happen? And so I did that just like a few minutes ago. And I received the answer because I was so lost in the frenzy of like, I'm working 2 jobs right now, and there's like all this activity with that, and my boss is just throwing extra hours at me, so I'm like getting all this revenue and this income, and I'm working, and it feels good, like I'm paying my bills and getting more things for my kids and stuff, and there's more activities. So I've been caught up in this 3D materialism frenzy. And I just finally, and I looked at this, well, this is when this happened. This is when I messed up on the video stuff, and I went through people sharing their life stories with me, and I completely lost everything of what they shared, their hearts. You know, that's not right. and this was all mixed in with my job. So I just got offered a promotion yesterday to work 40 hours a week. It's like a $5 raise. It's a full-time job. It's all set up for me. And I meditated on it last night, and then I started thinking, I want to do this project. This is what my intention is, and this is what I'm putting out to the guardians and to my higher self and to the universe. That this is my intention. And so I didn't really connect the dots as to when that happened. Just this evening, I just connected that whole stream of like, this was all job related. I made the right decision in turning down the promotion. Now I'm going to do the interviews. Like this is my job. This is my project.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it feels really good. And
Yeah,
then
I
I
think
just
it's great.
messaged you, and we haven't talked. We talked like once or twice before, a long time ago. And
Yeah,
your
it's been a
camera's a
while.
lot clearer now. I couldn't really see you then, and I don't remember. I think we were talking about like the older workshops or something, like you were just starting. So
Yeah.
and I'm
Uh,
recording all this, by the way. I'm just gonna start everything from there, I guess, from when we started talking. But is that okay? You haven't
Yeah.
said much. I've been just talking, so that should be okay. Yeah, so the last interview or the last time that we talked, it was like, I think you were just coming into KS or something. Like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
was that?
Well, that was 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Then I really started, but and then I took like a 1 year break from all of it because it was just not. Uh, it really wasn't the thing that I wanted to do. Like I had some other stuff I wanted to experience, um, like
Aside
playing
from
games and
KS.
stuff. Yeah, like
What did you say about games? What?
I play a lot of video games.
Oh, you were getting into some video games. So you
Yeah,
just kind of
I
stuck.
was getting into Battlefield 4, which
I
is
know what
a
you
first
mean.
person shooter.
I go in video game zone, and I'm just like, that's my life for a while. I need to take
Yeah,
zone out. I do
yeah.
that. I'm in Metal Gear right now, actually. Solid
But I
Snake.
actually incorporate that into my incorporate chaos into my gaming
I've
right
heard of
now.
that. There's some others that do that too. They're-
I
they're-
mean, I really do kind of for example, I sing magic words of creation and s- other songs before I play.
that's
And
interesting.
I just hold the intent that I am good, I am going to win, and that kind of stuff. And
Oh, okay.
that really
To
has worked
win.
for me.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay.
I have gotten I've gotten really good, like really fast
Okay.
doing.
Well, see, that's a different method. I've met some KSers that do it to spread frequency amongst like other gamers online and stuff.
Oh
I
yeah,
guess you're
no,
kind of doing that if you're doing songs and stuff, but
yeah, yeah.
they don't do it like just to
I have
win. They
I have
so
tried to relay some KS to the other people I play with, but
it comes up.
most of them are not interested.
Right. Yeah. Go figure, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's a timing thing, I think. So,
yeah.
have you ever tried this kombucha?
What do you mean?
K-
Kombucha? Isn't
Kombucha? Never heard of it?
no?
It's
Isn't
like
that a city or something?
huh?
Isn't that a city?
A city? Yeah, it might be kombucha, kombuktu or something. Yeah, it's like really healthy stuff for your intestines and probiotics, polyphenols, enzymes, and you can make it. You just need like a little SCOBY. They call these little things SCOBYs on the bottom. It's like a jellyfish looking thing or something, mushroom looking. So it's real.
I
I'm
can't
into
see
health
your
stuff.
camera anymore, but yeah.
Really? Let me turn it off and on. Here.
There we go. Now I can see your picture again. Your profile picture. There we go. Now I can see
But
it.
I don't know. Okay, it kind of shorts out sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what
So
you were saying?
Oh,
I
I go
haven't.
on my health tangents here and there sometimes. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
I want to.
I've done some kind of homeopathic stuff like a long time ago, but I don't remember the names of that right now.
So I want to just really start everything off because I didn't really do an introduction or anything. Sometimes they're real formal interviews, sometimes they're just talks like this, and I don't really not particular about that. I just kind of wanted to start this as a talk because we had talked before, and I'm trying to remember like how you started and everything. Like how did you hear about KS? When did you come into it?
Oh, actually, that's a funny story. Right now I have moved, but I had a window where I used to stand and look out of at night, and I was there smoking because I am not allowed to smoke inside. So I was smoking outside the window, and I was just
Cigarettes?
yeah, yes, yes, tobacco, yeah, and I don't remember
Oh,
what
stuff.
exactly I don't remember what I have been seeing some videos on YouTube on how the government is lying to us, and I don't remember exactly what video or what the topic was, but uh, I was just asking, like, any god or universe, like, please explain to me what the fuck is going on, like, I want to know.
Hmm.
And the day after, James Pover
Hmm.
contacted me on Facebook, and he sent me the One World Order
Yeah,
video
yeah.
workshop,
It's one of the
and
Templars. Yeah.
yeah, and that really got me started because that just started me getting into the science of it all because I really my whole life I've been wondering like none of the stuff that I've ever learned makes any sense. But at first, when I first saw that workshop, it really came together, and I really understood how everything worked.
What was in the workshop? What were they explaining? I'm trying to recall. I know it was a
Um,
Templar's mechanic workshop as
yeah.
part of the series.
Well, firstly, it was. I don't even remember. It's so long since I've seen it.
There was a lot of knowledge just mixed in there. She would just
Yes.
rattle off something, and it'd be like,
Yeah.
wow, sparks were flying. She was, yeah,
Yeah.
not
But
even
it
on
was.
the theme of the workshop. Sometimes just some knowledge would just flow out of her.
Yeah. I've been always interested in knowledge. I've been hoarding it as long as I have lived, and
Hoarding it. What do you mean?
no, like I love to consume it, like take in
Oh,
knowledge.
okay, yeah, yeah. You just
I'm not
always.
keeping it to myself like that hoarding, but I
Okay,
like to
yeah.
pile on a lot. So I don't remember exactly what that workshop was about, but it was about the one world order
Hmm.
and
I know. I need to watch it again now. Got me
the
curious. I remember the Arthurian lines. That was part of the Templars also. She went into King Arthur and part of their mission.
yeah.
I could really revisit all that. It's like my data banks get filled with other stuff and then it's just gone, kind of sometimes.
There was a lot of stuff covered in that workshop, but
Oh yeah.
the things that really made everything stick together were uh, the the core science of she explained what stargates were and how they were positioned on Earth, and for example, 9/11 was
Oh yeah,
a topic,
yeah. It was pretty
and it
soon after
really
Voyagers.
made a lot more sense than anything else. That I think there was some kind of key or some kind of crystal code set that was stored in one of the buildings to activate the one of the stargates around that area. I don't remember exactly, but that was one of the things.
Hmm. So
So,
you were on you said James Pover? Were you on
yes.
like his group or something?
Yeah.
And just
I
talked to
actually,
him and
yes, I actually, yeah, there was the, I don't know,
awake, aware, spiritual movement.
yes,
Yeah.
that one. And I was actually invited by a friend of mine or a friend of my father's into that group. I don't have any idea why, and I've asked him, and he doesn't know why either.
That's interesting. Yeah. We've
Yeah, and
been
that is,
talking lately. I'm just like there was such there still is and it's still happening really. It's like a huge expanding group, but there was something there that could be directed, with outreach for KS in a really big way.
yeah,
It just felt like a big seed was planted, and it's still growing, but we could water it and it could like grow branches and get huge and everything. I love working on with projects like that, but there's like a time for that. You have to both be
yeah,
in unison. You have to feel it and respect it and everything.
yeah. And like when I first started, and I just wanted more and more, and he couldn't give it to me. Uh, just to put it simply, because he didn't have time, and because of the time difference and all that, we couldn't talk that much.
Sure. Is that when you
But
connected with me?
yeah, that's
Okay.
when I
Yeah.
started finding other people to
I
talk to.
remember
Yeah,
doing a lot of down stuff and answering questions. It was like there was a lot of exchange happening. I remember that now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I do that too. When I have gone, when I did go through a lot of not all of the workshops, but at least five or six I've seen then, and then I started to just do some outreach work. Like I also didn't just come from Keylontic Science. I also started watching Bashar.
Yeah.
I don't know if your listeners know what that is or what he
Yeah. Why
is,
don't
but
you explain who Bashar is?
Bashar is an entity channeled through Darla Anka. Uh, and he has a lot of simple explanations to really complicated stuff. And that also helped a lot. But that isn't enough. That isn't is that is a little bit like too general what he goes through. So
Yeah.
when I
He
put
definitely
when it
goes in trance. Like he doesn't
yeah
remember any of it. Yeah.
yeah, but I'm not gonna talk about him that much.
Yeah.
It's just yeah, I just wanted to mention that he has also been an inspiration to to uh, to my knowledge. And I started helping people on Facebook. I started talking to them, and I don't know. I helped them with some of their personal problems, and
Introduce KS
yeah.
to other people, you mean?
Yes,
Okay. Yeah.
that also.
Yeah, I remember there was one girl that yeah, you had
Yeah.
shared the thread that you guys had.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're still talking. Once we started talking, we were talking like every day. Uh, I think we got through like 10,000 messages in one or 2 months.
She has Ashtar Command, right?
No, no, not
No,
that one.
not that.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Oh, there was. Yeah.
Meryl.
Okay, the first one before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we've been talking pretty steady, like off and on to all this. That's
Yeah.
interesting. I remember at one time I got way big into COQ10 and the mitochondria and everything, and you'd
Yeah.
share. Do you feel comfortable sharing
Yeah. Yeah.
some of the conversation? Okay. Yeah, because I thought it was fascinating because, and I still do, I think there's like a really big thing happening with mitochondria. Like there was some kind of seed planted with that because of the
Yeah.
exchange with the
I really
cells
think
and
that has some connection
guardians or
to
something.
what?
I think it was like an intervention personally. I have my own theory about it that there was at one point in time they were kind of seeded here to assist with our cellular evolution, and now it's like they're part of the chain. From what I've studied, I'm
Yeah.
still studying mitochondria. It's just fascinating.
Yeah.
They're little engines. They're little piston, little nanobots or something.
Yeah.
Organic though.
Well, there. Yeah. I really think it has some connection to my lineage or uh, what do you say? Like that it has some kind of alien or extraterrestrial origin,
Something.
or not necessarily extraterrestrial, but some kind of connection to our genetic makeup, or well, of course it is a changing the genetic makeup, but I mean that it has some kind of deeper purpose.
Hmm.
I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah. Well, I kind of wanted to ask you more about your uh, the if you feel comfortable talking about
Yeah.
your condition and everything. Would you be able? Yeah.
I don't know much about it because the doctors don't know much about it, but as far as my experience with it, it I haven't really had the worst. There are people that have strokes when they're like 10 years old and they are brain damaged for life, for example. And yeah, I don't have it uh that bad. But
What exactly is it? What's it called?
uh, m- melos or let me just
Because I've heard there's one that's called Mito or something. They have all these kind of
mitochondrial
nicknames.
encephaloptomyopathy, lactic acidosis, and stroke-like episodes.
But
Um,
what you have, like the
yeah,
type that
that's
you,
what I have.
oh, that's what you have. Okay.
Yeah,
So
and it
basically, since the mitochondria, you can do like a brief science
yeah that
lecture
is a
here.
whole that is a
Yeah,
whole group of uh
it handles the electricity
site.
exchange to the cell, right? Like the gives the zap to animate everything, and
Yes,
okay, it's called ADT process or something. Can't remember.
ATP.
ATP, yeah. So whenever they're linking this to all kinds of diseases and illnesses that
Yes,
there's mitochondria stuff happening. Like there's something wrong with the mitochondria with certain diseases.
yeah,
So it's like a fresh study right now. It feels like it's all new and they
yeah.
keep learning more about it. So with your condition, if the mitochondria isn't working properly, it can slow down your movements. You were saying.
No, it doesn't
Yeah.
slow it down. It just it takes r- more time or more energy to produce or do the same actions as, for example, a normal healthy person would. So the muscles, for example, uh, has to work overtime, if you understand. So they I would have to, my body, I would have to need more food or more energy to do the same tasks. And when the muscle cells breaks down when you use them, right? Because the muscle breaks down when you use them and train them or any kind of action. When they break down, the what's actually wrong is that when the cells separate and duplicate or reproduce, the 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 thing that's wrong is that they don't do that properly, so that it still produces a bad mitochondria that works at, for example, 60%, and then it just goes down to like 30% because they're splitting it in two. But I'm not a doctor, so I couldn't really explain it that well, but that's what basically is happening.
I've heard
And
there's like a difference between RNA and DNA because I think RNA
yes,
is like just only in the lifetime and the DNA goes through genetics, like it's passed down through your
yeah,
children.
no, I think
Maybe it's the other way around. I don't know.
I don't, I think RNA is just a group where they put uh, information that uh, the doctors don't know what to do with. Like they don't know what it is. They don't know what how to categorize it. But
Well, as far as
um,
illness, I've heard it defined that if you have an RNA, if it's something with RNA, then it's only in this lifetime. Like it's kind of temporary, it can be healed. But if it's a DNA, if it's on a DNA level, then it's genetic and it's passed down through children and
yeah,
stuff.
that and
Okay.
yeah,
As far as illnesses, terminal illnesses and stuff.
I'm not. I don't know about that.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I don't.
I'm still
I,
studying it. So, so when you came into KS, like, you started watching the workshops and everything, or did you
yeah.
do any techniques? What did you gravitate towards first? What were your experiences?
Um. Well, I tried to do some of the techniques and exercises, and it didn't really work, and it never has. Like I didn't have any effect. But yeah, I don't know what to say.
What did you try to do in particular? What was it?
Like for example, the the
And the Mahart seal, or there's like
yes,
flame
yes,
body, and
yes.
okay, yeah.
My heart
Sorry,
seal.
I'm
That
just
was the
jumping
first
there.
thing I started with.
Yeah.
Like doing, I was trying to do that more like regularly, like every day.
So the
But
first
I
time you
really
did it, you didn't. There was no
no,
reaction, just like you didn't feel nothing with the breathing or anything.
no.
Wow. Okay.
But
Why do you think that is? That some people feel it like as soon as I did it, it was like this gush just came up my legs, and it was very tangible. It's almost like my legs went numb or something with frequency, and it was
yeah.
like an adjustment type thing. And whenever I feel frequency, it's like that. It comes up through my feet. I'm very sensitive to it. So why do you think that is? That some people just don't feel it?
That I don't know.
Do you think it's real still, even though you don't feel it?
Yes, yes, I do
Okay.
think.
All right. That's interesting. Okay.
I do think it has very large effect, but I don't have any feeling of it. But
The physical body or anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it has helped me sometimes also. But doing, for example, the quick seal, the yeah, the quick version. So, for example, if I was about to puke, for example, on any occasion. But sometimes because of my mitochondria disease, I cannot eat properly. I can't swallow properly. Well, I can't swallow properly, but it doesn't. I don't know exactly how it works, but there's something that is not completely done when you swallow. So I have really issues with eating and drinking. So that makes me like I feel like I'm about to puke all day.
Mm,
So
that's interesting. So,
whenever I
throat
eat, for
chakra.
example, then I can just, if I eat too much, if I ignore that feeling when I am eating, for example, I cannot eat that much. So when I feel like now I have to stop, if I eat beyond that, I will almost certainly puke because my body can't handle it.
I see. Yeah. You were saying like even like to get up, go get something to drink is like
Yeah.
it's like would be for somebody running on the treadmill for a while or something, or
Yes.
working
Yes.
out
Yes.
or yeah,
That also.
yeah. So how what has KS done to help with this? Anything at all have you noticed? Like you don't feel anything when you're doing the techniques, but what has it done for your life with any of this? Has it
Well,
helped or
yes. Well,
okay.
not physically, but it
Yeah,
it
yeah.
has helped
Yeah.
me cope with it emotionally. Emotionally.
Emotionally. How so?
Yeah. Well,
We were just talking about how there's not enough acknowledgement of emotional healing in KS, so that's interesting.
well, okay, maybe that was the wrong thing to say
Like confidence or
because
self-esteem or
yeah, well, before I started with KS, I have had suicidal thoughts and kind of helped with that kind of aspect of it. But yeah, so it has helped me to accept that this is how it is and you just gotta live with it.
acceptance. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a big thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Kind of like, I mean, before, did you have much awareness of like, KS does focus a lot on spirit and things other than here,
Yeah.
life after death, the Bardo and the way showers and
Yes.
everything. So it kind of
Yes,
gave
I
you
have always been interested in paranormal stuff and science fiction or for example, Stargate is the one thing that I saw from when I was, a little boy and I really think that that is based on some aspect of the reality.
yeah, there's
And
something in that. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that I was meant to see that just to get me onto this uh, perspective of the paranormal and
Kind of open your mind, like a little data
yes, yes,
dump or something.
yep,
Yeah.
yes, in that way.
Have you been following the Corey Good material at all?
Yes,
What do you think about
well,
that? These
not all
data
of it, but
dumps, and do you think he's working with the Guardian, an avian blue creature that looks like some of what Yesha is described in Voyagers?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot to it. I mean, there's tons of interviews with them and everything. It's a lot of material. You just haven't got into it enough, I guess, to speak.
No, I have only
Yeah.
seen like 5, 6 episodes of it,
Yeah.
and for the first four is like really, I know this, I know this, I know this. We already learned
Sure.
this in KS.
Well, did you know about the Nazis on the moon? Or
Oh
the
yeah,
Germans on the moon, the breakaway civilizations, the
well, not
Agarthans.
not exactly from KS or anything like that, but yeah, I did.
See,
Uh,
that's kind of new to me. I didn't know that the Germans advanced. after the war and went to the moon and started a base and now they're on Mars. And I mean, that's all new to me, really. I'd never heard that. I've heard like some of the outskirts of some movies and some really way controversial stuff, but I couldn't hear it here. Like I'm hearing it now from him, where it's like loud and in your face, like this is what's happened, what's transpired. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really just not surprised at all with all that stuff
I'm
because
not surprised either, but it's like it's more real that it
yeah,
actually happened now. It's not like a movie, some
yeah,
movie idea or something. Yeah. So what is let me I got to pull the questions out. I don't even have them. You said you had this is all impromptu, man. This is crazy. Like I was saying before, it was just all the interviews came to a screeching halt. I did like two interviews and the software just flunked out on me and I failed miserably because I didn't fix it. And then I had another interview that it was just the energy was so off, but I could have basically had like three or four interviews already uploaded right now. The continuum was still going. There was a thrust, but it was like my bad, like I failed to maintain it and keep it going
yeah,
properly. So I've learned that lesson now and I've matched my intention with my focus to where it needs to be.
yeah,
So definitely doing that. You said there were some questions that you couldn't answer on here or
yeah.
that you had some problems with. Let me see. Let me pull them up here. Trying to get the chat back on. It's just showing video. Okay, here it goes. So the difference between plasma body and astral body, for example, and the many different levels of anatomy, you haven't felt like that you've tuned into that through
No, I
chaos,
have
like your avatar self, your soul, your oversoul, your incarnate.
no.
You don't understand any of it, or you just have it. You're
No,
not
no, I
sensitive to
understand
the
the
dynamics.
technicals of
Okay,
it, but I haven't
you haven't been able to experience any of that.
no. Well, not really. I have had some experiences while sleeping. But before I started when I was going to school, before I started getting into KS, tried to what is it called now again? Oh, dreaming, uh, being
Astral.
awake while you're dreaming.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Sadi state,
No,
astral projection.
yes, astral
Oh,
projection.
okay, yeah. Well, that
And
is Sadi state actually. You're not asleep, you're awake. You're
yeah,
conscious of your dream body. Yeah.
and I've never gotten that to work either. But I have had one or two experiences where didn't really try at all. I've just given up on the whole thing. And after I started with KS, I think it was a few days after I saw One World Order, when I was finished watching it, the whole thing, which was 7 hours or something. So I had to do it over several days.
It's like a few DVDs, three or four, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
yeah. And after that, well, yeah, after I had watched that, I had a dream where I was in the room with this man, a man that was taller than me, and I couldn't really make out any faces or anything. But he told me to go to through this door, which it was just a dark room, and there was some kind of doorway that I went through. And when I stepped into that door, it felt like I was on a train track with a motorbike with with one of those, side carts.
Yeah, like a mine, um, yeah, like coal mine or something. Those carts, they go way down and way
Yeah,
up
no, no, no.
everywhere. No.
the side cart, or I don't know what the name is it for it, but there are kind of carts that you put on your motorbike.
Okay. Yeah, I
You
think I know what you
understand?
mean.
No?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sidekick or
So
something. Yeah.
but it didn't feel like any kind of vehicle. It just I think it's just how my mind uh um understood it right at that moment. So it felt like I was going through this tunnel or some kind of road. And when I got to the end, there was some kind of huge blue light, like dimmed light, um, hallway, or not hallway, but like a shopping center with lots of people in it. But I didn't really acknowledge all the people. I was just looking at the view of the buildings and architecture. But I don't remember much of it. But the I remember it was blue and very large and lots of people. And I also remember when I was there was these two girls where I could see both their physical bodies and their, I don't know, avatar bodies or some kind of bigger parts of them. That was
It was like
transparent.
it was a positive experience.
Yeah, it was. But I don't remember much of it. So
You know what I've always thought, if you're able to see somebody else's oversoul or avatar or something, that's your level of avatar that's seeing through those eyes because you have to be at the
yeah,
matching frequency to be able to see that.
yes,
I knew somebody that had called themselves a catalyst, and it really got me wondering about the term and title as somebody to use this word because if you're cat and it was in the context of this individual like assisting or bringing people's karma up from this other level or something of just been able to like summon people's issues
yeah,
really fast, a catalyst. And so I was thinking, well, you're probably attuning to their higher self on some level, and their higher self is also filling the eyeballs of this other higher self. So its eyeballs start to open a little bit.
yeah,
And so it's not really, it kind of diffuses the whole stance of like guru student or,
yeah,
activator healer. And I think that's a really big shift that's happened in KS into self healing because we used to have the Cathara team and there was laying on of hands and there was a lot of transmitting and very personal stuff in people's spaces that was happening, massages, Cathara massages,
yeah,
and all this stuff. And all that's just like halted. And now we're redirected. Our ARPs have shifted into absolute self healing and sovereignty, which
yeah.
I
I'm
absolutely
really
love.
sad
But
about that because it
yeah.
would be really useful for any kind of people to at least uh, get more knowledge about chaos into the normal population.
Well, it can happen in different ways now, other than, because we do have Reiki out there and we do have a lot of healing therapies and things, and KS is just not one of those. And
Yes.
so it stands apart in this age of self healing as a very apparent, this is how things are done now. This is what we're being taught is that you go inward if you have any issues, and
Yeah.
that's karma. And KS is really focused on it gives you all the tools to deal with your karma. So
Yeah.
you really don't have much of an excuse to have to go out and have somebody activate your DNA or whatever, do things for you, like in the New Age scene.
Yeah. Well, I think Ash has also said this that
Yesha.
a lot of the Reiki healing and other kinds of healing practices are not um, they aren't pure. Like they are more uh, what's the word? They aren't as concentrated as the way that KS is. that it isn't influenced by any other
frequency wise.
traditions. Yeah, well, not necessarily frequency wise, but it isn't influenced by religion or any other kind of social norms that,
Indoctrinated or have doctrine type? Or,
yeah, doctrines
okay.
that were at, for example, for 1,000 years ago, for example, it was a different time and people lived and think differently. So maybe the practices of healing was influenced in that way from from the environment. So they could do a lot of other stuff they couldn't do today. For example, like 1,000 years ago or a few hundred years ago, you could it was legal to drill holes in people's head to drive out demons and stuff like that. So, but that's kind of off the track a little bit. But my point is that it is. I don't feel like Reiki or any other kind of healing practices are as concentrated and pure as the way that KS is.
Well, it's a whole nother paradigm because I don't know if anybody else out there is using a Cathara grid or knows about what the DNA template actually looks like and how to
Yeah,
work with this and everything. There's not really a clear presentation of that anywhere else, other than the Kabbalah, which is we all know, and the Fibonacci spiral, which has been pretty much proven on display next to the crystal spiral by Noel Tobin's work. The spiral.
yeah.
Did you get a chance to read that? Spirals of
No,
Creation.
no, I don't think so.
That was excellent.
I,
He
I've I've
just,
seen some of his videos, but
yeah, he shows the graphs in
haven't
the
read it.
videos. You've seen those. Yeah, so it's all right there, even in
Yeah,
down to the math and the
yep,
geometries and everything. Just
yeah.
anything other than that. And that's a good question. Like, what is Reiki really based off of as far as
I
the
really don't
points
know.
on the
I
body?
haven't.
They're not attuned to the Cathara grid. Obviously,
No,
they
they're
wouldn't.
not.
Yeah, so that's interesting. And I like what you said here on this other question. I said, "What are your views on the recent shield split? How this has personally affected you?" You said, "I have no opinion in this matter as I don't know much about it, and I don't really care as I think in bigger scales, if you know what I mean." I think that's perfect. Yeah, it just kind of just passed
Yeah,
your radar, no drama, just what. And I've
yeah,
looking back, I was just listening to Harvey's interview I did like way back last year when I first started this project. And I
yeah,
was really focused on shield split and asking questions. I've had my own evolution through all this, really, my own healing with the whole thing. Because hearing other people like you, they kind of just stayed out of it. There was just no big deal.
yeah. I think that was happening right as I was getting into it, or a few months after I was getting into it, and I really just didn't. I wasn't that connected into people that were into KS right then. But I heard people talking about it, but I really didn't.
On the Indigos group and stuff.
Yeah, I really didn't understand what was the issue or what. Like
You didn't.
I was reading what people was telling me. Like I was asking like what's the issue, what was happening and stuff. I just like I looked at it and it just didn't mean anything to me. Like what's the issue? Like I didn't understand why is this such a big deal, you know?
Well, if you know some of the history of this group, that I mean, he was speaker two, and Mac was
Yeah.
speaker three. There was people that were really close to these people that were in this group, and
Yeah.
I mean, group dynamics, human dynamics, emotions and stuff,
Yeah.
psyche.
I, I, I
Yeah,
really when I think about it, it's just aren't we bigger than that? Haven't we learned anything? Like,
yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah, I get you. Yeah. I mean, we have all the tools and everything
yeah.
to kind of move past this a little smoother, I guess. How do you how do you see KS like in the future and with mainstream and the rest of the world and as a healing modality? Do you see that this is going to be like ever go mainstream type thing, or do you feel that it's just always going to have its little area of people?
Well, that's a large question. Um, yeah, I think it's gonna remain in the background until people really start to acknowledge the other large large problems in the world. For example, organized religion and, for example, how the banking system works and all that kind of larger stuff that's really coming to a halt right now. Um, and also that people are need to open their mind, especially towards the thoughts of extraterrestrial life and that kind of stuff until they can ever they need to like open their minds and get the brainwash away before they can start to take in anything new.
It's too radioactive yet for them
Yeah.
to get in contact with. Yeah.
Well, no, I don't think that. I don't think it's. I don't think chaos is radioactive or anything.
Well,
I
I
just think that.
use I use that term in my life because whenever I do it, sometimes it's like it in the past, like with flame body and sliders and stuff,
Yeah,
and
I
even some of the
understand.
newer plasma stuff, it's going to bring up your karma pretty quick, you know. So you have to know, you have to find a balance. There's a science to the science. You have to find a balance as to how much to do and find your rhythm with it as to how much karma you can take on at one time, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, I don't know what you mean by karma because I never.
purge miasms.
Yeah.
I don't either sometimes, you know. I don't know. I don't know if it's karma or what, or if it's service contracts, or it's all kind of mixed for me sometimes. It really is.
Yeah. But what we were talking about was,
KS in the future.
yeah, chaos in the future. So I think that, yeah, people would need to see past larger issues before they can really accept or even acknowledge that this is reality. That, yeah, I really think that it's like Bashar says that it's about belief systems and what people believe and what they are thought to believe and why do you believe those beliefs are true and that kind of um, reasoning or
Evolution for some, I guess, to
yeah,
even take a step back and look at it. Yeah.
yes. Um, but I really I would like to see it more largely known, at least. Even if it's bad, I don't care. Even if people are talking bad about KS, I really don't care because at least it's getting out there. And as business people say any PR is good PR.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's kind of how I felt about people that are taking bits bits and pieces of KS and forming their own business and making money with it. It's kind of
Yeah,
at first that really angsted me a lot, and I was just like on the attack over some of the people and just like how could they? They're betraying us, and I was in that consciousness, I really was, and I see others still kind of. I don't want to say stuck. Nobody's really stuck, but it's like it's some kind of realization that I have now that just like what you said, that everything's in divine right timing and order. There's a sequence to people becoming aware of
yeah,
chaos. And if they're a part of that and they happen to be part of that sequence, and more power to it, that's good. I've kind of found peace with that now. So have you kept up with the newer material, the plasmas and KDDL, anything?
yes, I have done the 1 and 2.
Okay, so you're aware of Earth pretty much being translocated type thing. I'm still trying to understand. I haven't really
Yeah,
delved into it enough, but we're going into inner domains basically. I know she did mention the galaxy is not going to be coming with us. It's just an
yeah,
automatic shift. The solar system is not. It's only Earth because Earth carries the codes to go type thing. It's from what I'm
yeah,
understanding.
yeah. Well, that is partly because Earth is what this whole thing is about for 500 million years or something.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
It's like the hub of hubs right here.
yeah.
This is it. This is the place. Huh? You see the
But
Cathara grid like dangling like a door hinge
yeah,
or something, The Earth has just like held its hub through the whole thing. So
yeah,
that's the direct line to Andromeda, the gates right to Andromeda and everything. Future Earth. So you really resonate with this. There's translocation type thing happening right now,
yes,
and that
yes,
it's not
yes.
because there is a lot of other new age scenes out there saying like, oh, the planets are evolving with the solar system and the Milky Way. We're going into the black hole, the Milky Way, all this, and it's good. And there's a lot of mixed things. KS does stand
Yeah,
apart in that sense that no, the solar system isn't good. It's not coming with us. We're leaving this whole system.
yeah.
The
I, I've,
Proceac
I've
system.
I've I've tried to explain to people about like black holes. They aren't black holes. They are dark stargates or portals.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Like, yeah, and people just don't comprehend any of it because they've always been told that it's a black hole. It just splits matter and it goes into
It's
nothing.
organic.
That kind of thing.
Organic, but yeah. I think that it is kind of a phenomenon, though. From the older work, she was saying in the middle of the sun, there's a white hole and a black hole. So I know there's black holes that are just part of science, also.
Yeah,
But there,
yeah.
there's
I think there's a little
different
of both.
types, I
Like
guess. Yeah,
there's
yeah. They can be used
that,
for
that
passages or something.
yeah. I think that it's both that a black hole can be just a black hole from just from the math and science, and then there's portals and things that actually lead somewhere.
What are your thoughts on the KS impact on the planet, and where does KS stand among other groups and religions to you? Is there other groups like bringing in as much frequency as the KS people practicing this or doing other assisting in the
I hope
ascension?
so.
Okay.
Well, I really don't know. I haven't really asked people or anything like that about that topic, but um, yes, I think a few years ago when we had this, I don't remember what is named. It was named the shield that was around Earth when we first were getting
Van Allen belts?
no the Aurora shield or something. I don't remember.
This was a few years back.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
we were just anchoring in the
Allenberg?
yeah, in that time period, and I think that that really did have a lot of effect in the way the world uh, not worked, but how it felt like it was moving faster, like things were happening faster. For example, in politics and yeah, incidents.
See, I think that needs to be studied alone in itself. There's a science to that also in itself of like KS when we have these, and she is kind of going into that KDDL, like when NASA sent up the satellites to study the Earth's Merkabah, the tetrahedron, was like right around when the information was being released and stuff about the
Yeah,
spins. But there probably is like a whole science to that, really, of when we did the workshops and Earth events and things in the news and stuff, you know?
yeah,
That could all be like a uh, chronology of things to put together. Somebody.
yeah.
It's just
Um,
a lot.
no, that just got me on the thought of saying that the government has probably known KS and some parts of KS even before Asiana started at all publicly or privately or anything.
You
Because
believe that? You think that
yeah,
they were already in touch with Guardians?
no, not necessarily Guardians,
The
but from
plates?
other races that
From
had
other
parts of the
races.
knowledge.
Okay. Of scalar mechanics,
Yeah,
scalar weaponry, and different things.
yeah.
They engineered, yeah.
Well, she goes over that in One World Order also, but I really believe that they have had parts of the puzzle at least 50 or 100 years.
But they could.
And even before that too, I don't doubt it that it for example 200 years ago there was probably a time period where for example alien or extraterrestrial incarnations happened and it was spread among the people, but it was never written down or never recorded in any way. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I think a lot of this has been like the fight over the real records, and like whoever held them could kind of sway what was happening on the planet type thing, and the censoring of the records too, editing
Yeah,
and yeah, putting a different head on there, a different face on the head of the Kabbalah, or the head of the where the Cathar grid's supposed to be connected to God, really.
yeah, and that brings me on to another thing. This galactic historian, I don't remember his name right now.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It taps
That
into the
also,
Akashic records.
yeah, Andrew
And yeah, Andrew.
Bartes,
Yeah.
Bartses.
Yep.
Um, he said that I don't remember right now, but that the timelines has been messed with other when working with extraterrestrials with the governments in plural, because I don't think for a second that we're we're at that level anymore that we are enemies and all that. Uh, if you understand what I mean, like
Well, if the breakaway civilization stuff is true that Corey Good's coming out with, and yeah, no
yeah,
doubt, we've had to cooperate, and we were taking the scraps of their technology pretty much. The states, I
yeah,
speak for the states. The states were, so I mean, yeah, of course, they're like way ahead of us, and we're just now really hearing the information about it in a bigger way, I guess. So
yeah.
who knows how far ahead they are now? And they've been working with ET groups and not necessarily good ones. It was the Dracos, according to what I've heard.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm not sure.
yeah. You think there was like some Guardian groups or any other ET groups that they could have been working with? Or
No, I don't think I don't take anything, don't read anything into this, but I don't think the Guardians actually have done anything for us. Like they haven't contacted us, they haven't done anything except uh, to allow other lower lower developed races to contact us or help us, if you understand.
is that a sovereignty thing? Respect of our sovereignty, of our evolution, natural
Yeah,
evolutionary path?
maybe, but I don't really know.
You
But I
feel that
don't
that
think
wasn't right?
no. I think that's good.
You think it's good?
Yeah, but also yeah, of course I would like the the bosses of the whole thing to just get their asses in gear and start kickstart it, or at least help us in some way that
Well, it
if
sounds like if you followed the Corey Good stuff, it's taken everything to the next level to where they his material saying they pretty much have, and that they've placed a quarantine to where they can no longer come and go in our immediate environment in the system in the solar system
yeah, yeah,
because
I
yeah, because they fired a weapon at one of their spheres, and it sounded very uh,
I'm not sure
crystic
about that.
frequency type thing that happened because he said that this group doesn't they don't attack like they don't do anything offensively as far as like striking back, but as soon as they got
Yeah,
attacked it had a natural repulsion where it just mirrored it back, and she's explained that with the Guardian technologies is that
yeah.
if they something tries to
I'm
attack
not
you.
really. I haven't really understood what he's talking about these fairs, but
Yeah,
I
I haven't
think it
either.
has
The spheres is
it,
kind of
it
fuzzy. Yeah,
but I do think it has some correlation with Ashiana's teachings that we are in quarantine and
something, some kind of
yeah.
buffer. He said,
And actually that's what makes it believable what he says, Corey, for us KSers that it correlates with the things that are happening in the sun, where like
yeah, being
she
buffered
said that
by them.
the sun is in Bardo and
There's a blue aqualine buffer around the sun. That was one of the older workshops. We've gone through so
yeah,
much now, though, that
yeah,
it really doesn't correlate with any of the newer material because
yeah,
all the stuff they're talking about, his stuff is saying is a solar system. And so that wouldn't make any sense if we're being moved from the solar system. But there's all these bridges being formed too. There's a lot of
yeah,
probability bridges happening. I know that firsthand off of my experience and my contracts as a blender and a bender type thing. I'm interfacing with a lot of things that I know are never going to happen, but they're like these probability timelines that just kind of flew by, but they felt
yeah.
real. It felt really real.
What do you mean? Can you go
Well,
into?
I had a post the other day about parallel Earth and this dream that I had of it felt kind of like, and I've had like it goes in the category of like New World Order dreams, and that's
Yeah,
basically what what transpired on parallel Earth, according to KS, is the gates were shut off, everything was invaded, and it basically fell. Like it became Phantom Earth.
Yeah.
So I've been having like some kind of weird bleed throughs, and I think it was probably quantum that I've retrieved that's kind of coming up to be processed from parallel Earth that I retrieved, but I just had like on a back burner type thing, and now I'm able
Well,
to.
right, yeah, I think it was always there, but you just didn't
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
notice it.
It feels like it's little
But
packets,
but now time is relative and all
time
that
released.
shit.
Yeah,
You know,
it feels like
like
time released packets, like
yeah,
just,
yeah,
and it just opens up and like, oh, here's a little movie to watch and process. It's not
yeah,
like I'm going getting sucked down some wormhole and I'm back there and I'm trapped. And it doesn't feel like that. It feels like some presentation just kind of laid out and there's a stream and
yeah,
I can like, oh man, that could have happened. it's, it's never, it can't happen. But
yeah. But I really think that we're not as clueless anymore as to what is going to happen because a few years ago we didn't know if we were going into safe fail safe or not, for example, and that actually when I first started to get into KS, I was like wondering like, do I really only have 10 years to ascend and get the fuck out of here? Like I was really worried because what if I don't do it correctly, or what if I can't do it in time?
there was a lot of pressure back then, grid wars and stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think about evac during the evac days and sliders? Would you have left the planet? Stefan,
Well, I would if I could,
I did a,
but I think I'm here for something in the future.
you've kind of always felt that,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've never felt that I was supposed to do anything. Like I've never felt the need to do anything like right now or
You're just hanging out until a certain time or something. I kind
yeah.
of get some of that. Like there's portions of my quantum that on reserve right now or something. Like it's not. I feel it there that if I focused enough, I could really make things happen. But it's almost like there's a protocol or a what do they call that? Whenever a computer system has like a backup and it pops up a screen,
Yeah.
like error, like you can't access this right now or something.
Yeah, I really think that I could change my life and do anything, but I don't feel like doing it right now.
You have a built-in clocking system,
Yeah.
DRT system or something.
Well,
I want to move on with some of the other questions here. So, what are your opinions on old work versus new work, like before pre-plasma and then post-plasma? You you said that you don't feel any of the techniques, but are you? What are your thoughts on that? You think it's important to still do the old work, like Mahark Seal, flame body maintenance and stuff, or do you think plasmas is all you need to do?
I don't have any opinion on that particularly, but I think that it's all the same. Like it's just more of the same knowledge. It's just more branched out. You know what I mean? Like
Do you
it's
feel
just
that it's
another
all
layer.
equally important?
Yeah, I think it's equally important.
That's a good way of putting it, actually. Well, I mean, a lot of us kind of got caught up in like the plasmas was like our fail-safe, so that was everything. And it seemed like that's all
Yeah,
we really needed to do from here on.
yeah.
What is your definition of hosting in KS? It talks a lot
Well,
about host shields.
I want to go over something before you say
Sure.
that
Yeah, go ahead.
because I have a inner knowledge about computers that I don't know where it is from. I have never learned it from anybody, but I just understand computers. For example, when I see a program, I can just see the coding. I can see how it is made. I can see what is happening.
The zeros and the ones, or what?
Yeah, no, I can't physically see it, but I can like constructively think what is happening.
You do programming?
Yeah, I have
So
some.
you really see it. You can see how it's all put together then. You have
Yeah,
that mind already. You never
yeah,
went to school for it? You're
no.
self-taught? Okay.
Well, I did went to school, but I never learned anything there because I already knew it.
Okay.
I did 1 year of ICT, which is informational communicational technologies. Um, but yeah, I didn't learn anything there. But yeah, the thing was, hosting is for me. I look at it as, for example, virtual computers. I don't know if you know what that is, but
Yeah, I do.
uh,
Virtual desktop?
yeah,
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I'll look at it at the same way because it's easy, and
Basically,
it's
where you
and
can, just to explain it real quick for people that might not know, it's basically
yeah, you
whenever you
have
have,
one physical. If you have one physical computer, and you have so and so much resources in that computer, you can put several virtual computers inside that computer.
totally different operating systems, Windows
Yes.
7, Windows 8,
Yeah.
different desktops, different storage, everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
And different
Programs.
different virtual instances of physical. Um, for example, your network card. It would in a virtual computer, it would take that networks card and create a virtual version of that networks card, and it would work the same as a physical one, and it would work in conjunction with other virtual physical cards.
The hardware. Yeah. The hardware
Yes,
working
hard.
with the software. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
So that is kind of how I look at hosting. Hosting is like
Okay.
having something inside something else that is bigger or
So you could have a software malfunction, but your hardware is still intact type thing. Is that what you're saying?
no,
Or- No?
no.
Okay. I'm trying to understand this.
But it's really hard to explain if you don't have a background in computers. But
Well, I built computers. I know computers, but I'm
yeah,
trying to get just the concept of the software, hardware being the host for the whole program to play on.
yeah. That is one way
Monitor,
to look at it.
basically.
Yeah,
You're displaying this on a monitor. The monitor is a hard item, but it's software
yeah,
that's displaying it.
yeah.
Okay. All right. I kind of see that.
Um,
Do you think there are groups right now, like fallen groups that might be being hosted through this? Collectives, families, Dracos, amnesty contracts?
yeah. Isn't there? It says so in the books.
Well, just from the news and stuff, from your hologram, what's your experience
Yeah.
of that? Do you think that's real?
What? I don't understand the question.
That there are possibly fallen collectives, Illuminati groups or Dracos or whatever that are being
Yes.
hosted right now, like
Well,
amnesties and
I believe that most of the Illuminati families and stuff they have always just been here, and that they have some kind of um, uh, they have messed with the grids enough so that they cannot be just simply removed. If you understand what I mean, that they you can't ignore them because they are here and they have
they're
been here for so long.
they're vested in the planet
Yeah, yeah,
energetically.
they're yeah, yes, in that way.
Okay.
But
So in a way, we have to work with them or something for
Yeah.
things to blend and go smoothly.
Yes.
Okay. What
Well,
about CERN?
not.
What do you think CERN is? That just came out of
Uh,
nowhere. I'm just linking.
yeah. No.
That would be a big
That's
one to blend, you know?
that is really a big question, but what I think it is. It is probably what they say it is, but the reasoning and why they're doing what they're doing is a whole nother matter.
Right. That's what I keep hearing. Yeah. What they're really researching and studying through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, I think it could be some way of altering the planet's grids and some way of changing the things that are already here energetically or modulate or something close to that.
Well, if you've been following KDDL, that's been kind of the theme that maybe it's both, you know. So if they're trying to do something negative, there's a higher science that's kind of morphing that into uh, the bigger picture of what's happening, you know, the ascension
Yeah.
and stuff that they might not even be aware of some of that, the dynamics that they're assisting, that they're helping with. What about the Norway spiral? You saw that also.
No, I didn't see that physically, and I didn't actually know about
You
it
live in
until
Norway. Come
several.
on.
Yes, I do,
No, I'm
but
just joking.
um it was never covered in the news.
Okay,
It
gotcha.
was covered in one episode at the nightly news. That's it. Never talked about after that.
Just dismissed from the media.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
we're not talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
YouTube.
I didn't know about it until like 10 years later.
What do you think about what she's explained that as, though?
Uh, hmm. I don't believe the explanation that it was a rocket. Well, maybe it was a rocket, but it wasn't a normal uh, rocket to do damage to anything. It
Well, I
was a
mean,
rocket.
the description that Iesha has given it in KDDL. What do you think? Do you resonate with that? That this was an opening to interface system of a really dark system type thing. But
Yeah.
then there was like some kind of implied. I need to go back and watch it. But there's kind of implication that something good happened from it after that or something.
Yeah, that was really vague what she said about
Yeah, it
that.
was. It was very vague. Thanks for seeing that. I keep thinking I'm the only one that is seeing. But we're supposed to be using our own
Yeah,
discernment.
I mean,
Huh?
like she talks about other stuff, like other other things for hours and hours, and she just spends like 2 minutes
That came
on
out of
what.
nowhere. Yeah. And also the implications of NASA studying the tetrahedron. That was an implication too, but it was vague. I was trying to catch that. Like what?
Yeah, but
Is there
it
like
could be.
guardian sciences in NASA
Yeah,
now, or what are you saying? You know?
yeah, it could be that she just cannot tell. She cannot
Yeah,
say it
yeah, I get that too. I
because
don't want to
it will just
assume or
bring too much
yeah, that's very true.
attention towards her.
But that's pretty big. So
Yeah.
the implications are pretty huge. So tell us a little bit about your ancestral coding and your 3D family line of what you've done. You're from Norway. Could you tell
Yeah.
us like what area and then on your mom's side and dad's side? I've been asking people questions this because of the cloister thing. So that was crazy timing. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Nah, the reason I just stopped middle sentence and I didn't answer your questions earlier was because heard my mom I wasn't sure if she was here, so that's why I wasn't answering properly.
Okay. Well, are
But
you comfortable with answering that?
yeah,
Because I've been just trying to bring that up in the conversation because Tony has the vision of uniting the cloisters, and I'm starting to see that more too. Because I was really wanting to learn people's lineages and how that corresponds with the ancestral code that we're healing right now, and how much work that you've done on that. So, what you both parents are Norwegian? Like you have roots,
yes,
strong roots.
yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but at least 5, 10 generations up, or time-wise,
Wow.
is
Okay.
is all from Norway.
So, what is the history of Norway? Like, what did you guys do during the war? I'm trying to think what happened with that.
Well, we were always. I really don't.
Sovereign country, like, because there was a
Yeah,
lot of guerrillas. My friend from
yeah.
Bosnia
We
was
we,
saying they
we were
fought the
in
Nazis.
union with Sweden and Denmark at that time,
Yeah.
so we weren't a sovereign nation before 1914. That's when we got separated and got our own sovereignty. Um, I really don't. I haven't dwelled much into history in my own country, other than what I learned in school and stuff. But I also think that it has some kind of reason for me to be in Norway, like in a grander scale, like why I incarnated right here and why not anywhere else in the world,
Well, the
if
work
that
has really
that
taken
makes sense.
on. It's taken on a big turn towards Norway. The spotlight has really gone there for the cathedral gates, the Humber
Yeah,
gates, and everything. It's been like a pivotal place in the work now as far as the gates.
yeah,
So that's interesting.
yeah. I think that Norway doesn't get acknowledged that much in the global sense. It hasn't really been talked about, like in Norway as a country at all. You know, people, where the fuck is Norway? When I talk to other people, on the internet, they don't know what Norway is. But we produce like 80% of the world's oil, so I don't understand how they haven't heard about Norway.
That's interesting. I keep hearing that
I don't know if that information is correct. Don't
yeah,
judge that, but
but a lot,
but
I
we
guess.
we we, we do produce
I
a
keep
lot.
hearing it's these Arab families, like Saudi Arabia and all the
Yeah,
royal
that
families there.
but that has always been there. But
Are you
yeah,
guys green? Are you a green country, like cutting edge with all the green technologies like Spain and all these other countries?
I don't think so. We
Sweden,
green and green.
like awake to the ecosystem and recycling and making new innovative green
Yes,
technologies and stuff
yes, there is a lot more of that going on now, but
in Norway.
I don't feel that it's significant or anything big
Okay.
in relation to other countries, or I don't have much knowledge about that, but I just don't think it is. We have always been a simple country. We have before we had the oil, we were a fisherman's country. Like most of the population is settled in the coast. So
Okay. Well, I want to get more into where were
yeah.
you at right before KS? Like, were you doing any spiritual studies at all And then what was the big impact that happened after
No,
chaos?
I was more or less an atheist. And I had a really strong I don't want to call it hate, but it is kind of like I hate religion in itself. Like I hate, for example, Christianity because all of the bullshit that comes out of it. Like not
Indoctrination.
yeah, and the indoctrination and it kind of makes people stupid. I don't know why, but people just don't see what's right in front of their eyes when people are really religious. Like, for example, I don't know how to explain it, but there are some people that just don't see anything else but their religion. They cannot understand anything else, and I think that's sad, really sad.
Do you see much of that in KS in this group?
Well, yes, actually, kind of. There are some people that I've talked to that only they're so hardcore into KS that they cannot see anything else. Like they cannot.
Like it's just a human distortion that happens in any
Yeah,
group. People put the blinders on and just get in a box. And fundamentalism type stuff.
yeah. But I don't know what to say about that.
So you were
There are
real atheist before, like
yeah.
just
I everything, but I still believed in paranormal stuff. It just you know I was kind of spiritual. It was just like yeah I don't know how to explain it, but it's just general carelessness, if you understand what I mean.
minus the
Like,
science, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So what did it do for you in particular? What was it that changed your views on being atheist in chaos? Was it the God world maps or the spirals or I mean, what facet?
Yeah, actually, I saw that on YouTube before that they got taken down, all of them. The God Worlds workshop, at least. But it wasn't really that. It was more when I it was more about One World Order workshop that really put everything, both science and spirituality, together for me. Because all of, for example, also the Katara one, the course, the first course in Katara one,
Cathar grid and Partikai, Partiki.
yeah, that also helped me understand way more about how things worked and how they connected together. So it didn't really change any of my beliefs in that. It wasn't like a drastic change. It was just I could explain it better, or I could rationalize things better, if you understand what I mean by that.
Definitely. I always say explain it like there was a category for everything that was cluttered in my mind. I could put everything neatly on the shelf and put it all back together
Yeah,
because everything was just kind of scattered.
yeah,
The experiences that I had mainly were too sci-fi for regular life. So
yeah.
be able to identify things and everything. So what has purge meant for I think we might have discussed this already. What has purge meant for you, like with KS and miasm and karma and stuff? Like whenever you do a technique and then you kind of go through a
Yeah,
purge and stuff. Have you experienced that?
yeah, I did, but I don't. I haven't really. I saw one workshop when I was at my father's one time, which I think kind of I was guided to see because the day after it was gone from YouTube, and that was kind of coincidental, you know. Like I was wondering why did I see this right at this day, and yeah, that was one workshop where Ashiana was channeling Asara, which is I
It's
can't
like
find it.
Cathara 4 Ethrodon or something, I think. It
Yeah,
was kind of
something.
rare when she was
I
channeled.
cannot find anywhere in the books where it says anything about Asara or
Yeah. It was an aspect of her higher self, I believe, that she
yeah.
was tuning into. I don't think it was like channeling an entity or anything. Yeah, that was kind of rare when she did that. Her voice would kind of
Yeah,
change and stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
that's interesting.
I've seen a lot of channelings and all of that. The I think all of them are just bullshit. Or they're just making it up, or
Not
that
Bashar,
they,
though.
no, not Bashar
Bashar, yeah.
or what's her name again?
What stands apart from Bashar? And Jane Roberts, were you thinking?
I haven't heard about
No,
her.
Seth Speaks, the Seth material.
Oh yeah, I have the
Okay.
Seth
Yeah.
books here,
Yeah,
the raw material.
she was definitely tuned in to something. That was
Yeah,
like the foundation for a lot of the New Age terminology and stuff,
yeah.
densities and yeah,
But yeah,
probabilities.
I think a lot of it is just bullshit, or both. It could be one of it isn't just it's bullshit, and it could also be that they are channelings from really negative beings.
Well, see, that's what a friend of mine was saying that with the Corey Good material, like
Yeah,
that they're just like on hold waiting for him to come out with a technique to tell everybody to do. Now they want you to do this or something. And that's where I think a lot of the new age scenes they kind of revolve around the technique and what they're being told from this other entity, or
yeah. I really don't.
older new age stuff. I don't know if it's
I
still like
feel
that.
really scared for people. Like I feel I'm not scared, but I feel scared for other people that go into that stuff.
Ashtar command stuff and
Yeah,
all that. Yeah. So there's like agendas behind it. It's not biogenesis. It's not like self healing, working with yourself. It's kind of taking donations for your healing or something from these other
yeah,
entities. Yeah, it's kind of unusual. She brought a lot of awareness to that in the New Age scene. It's really good
yeah,
about sovereignty. You don't blend your DNA template with other entities. And
yeah.
speaking of, that kind of moves me to
For
this.
example, Bashar is also open about that. That he has said in several interviews where that yeah, this when you're contacting or channeling an entity, you are going to change your DNA. You are going to damage your body.
Like a larger presence in your
Yes.
small. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That kind of brings me to the next question about DNA bonding and the Alhambra. And through all of KS, we've really there's been all these different councils and different families,
Yeah.
and the teaching goes that people that carry the codings to those families are in resonance with that, or the ones that kind of showed up at the workshops and kind of helped contribute towards the information coming down that she was receiving. So, what are your thoughts on, like, do you remember the Alhambra DNA bonding, everything with that? Was that
No, not really. I haven't
well,
seen any of those.
basically when we received the plasma template is what it was, and it was just like a whole nother. DNA template that we received from the Alhambra. And I guess I'm just trying to get at even just the notion of ET stepping in and giving part of their anatomy to us and us just
Yeah.
latching onto it. Is that healthy? Do you have any views on that? How do you see that?
Hmm. I don't know. Um,
We were just talking about like channeling other entities and stuff.
yeah,
Is it all
yeah.
family thing? Is it really all family, or what do you think?
I don't think it. There's both physical relation and then there's spiritual relation. I think those two are separate.
With the ETs particularly though,
Yeah.
that I'm talking about. Like, do you think that the bonding thing and the giving us extra DNA strands or whatever from their collective, is that something normal that humans should be accepting right now from ETs?
Not really. I really don't think so. Because that's what got us here in the first place. The stories you've seen or heard the what is it called now? World History or something. There's a series of 4 videos or audio clips where she goes through the history of the world.
Oh, the Earth histories. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, that's
audio
it.
on YouTube for a while. Yeah,
Yeah,
about
uh,
Metatron and
yeah. Because that's what happened in the
Giovanni,
first
the
the
Giovanni
first
collective.
seedings. Yeah, the first seedings that we really mixed together.
Well, wasn't there a reason for that because of the bioregenesis? Like we had
Yeah,
to assist, and that was part of the mission was to take on some of the fallen codes, gene codes,
yeah,
so we could
yes,
like the Nephilims, the Indigo contracts, where they took on the Nephilim, hosted them and stuff.
yeah,
Indigo threes. Yeah.
yeah.
So that's kind of been a
But
common theme in the work. So you've never had any disresonance with that. It's just been normal.
yeah, no, I think that
That's
we
how
really
chaos
should.
stands apart too, though, in
Yeah,
some ways. Yeah.
I really think that we shouldn't um, we shouldn't be able to make such decisions, or if you understand what I mean. I
We
think
shouldn't be
we
aware
should.
of it.
No, we should be aware of it, but I don't think we are capable of understanding the implications of mixing with other races. If you
Well,
understand what I mean
that's
by
kind
that.
of you're saying other races, and that's kind of part of the question is, do you
Yeah.
think that these are other races, or do you think it's all a family DNA thing? That's just a co-resonance with your family. If it's the people that aren't doing it basically might not have the codings to be in resonance to do it. Other people take right to it, like myself. I totally resonated with Alhambra. I took anything
Yeah.
they had to show me. I just felt the presence. It was normal, it was natural. The Elisa
Yeah.
was even more core family for me. There was like more of a core than Alhambra there. So,
Yeah.
and then other people are like way distanced from these groups now after the split. So I've been kind of examining that, not so much the emotional impact anymore, but kind of uh, the dynamics that were taking place there. As far as was this really a family thing? Was there a resonance of a family that happened where other people that didn't have the coatings of that family didn't feel the resonance and they split and they don't do plasmas. They don't resonate with it.
I don't really know what to say about that. I think that is more of a
Not necessarily
personal.
family.
No, I don't think it has to do with family.
Do you
Well,
think
well,
we have ET family in us or are we just
yeah,
pure human?
yes, of
Okay.
course. I think we have a lot, but I think that there's just so much now that like so many different races within us that it really doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah,
If you
we've been through
understand what I
tons. The
mean.
Mashiana, the Haturs, the Aljune, all these different
Yeah.
races and accretion levels, I guess, of coatings or we're just
But
kind
I have really wondered what kind of uh, race am I? What kind of lineage do I have? But I never found out.
Did you try the Bet Jehovah scan from
Yeah,
Flame Body? Yeah,
I have tried it, but it
I didn't see anything either.
produced zero results.
Yeah, and she was actually using that before when she was used to do readings that she had done. She was using that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
What were the other questions?
yeah,
You were asking me about my family. You can go back to that, so I can go over that first.
you have more to say on that? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
No, more to say? You didn't. We didn't go over it.
Well, just pretty much uh, what you've kind of come up with as far as your family roots, your lineage, and with the ancestral
Oh,
code,
oh
like
yeah,
your healing, and where does that tie in 3D dynamics? Like I always give myself an example. Like I have Native American roots. There's obviously a lot of healing in this country for Native Americans because their culture was pretty much stripped from them, and they were converted into Christians and the whole 9 yards of that. So I kind of
yeah,
see some of the ancestral code coming through in that in my own hologram and my attributes and different patterns that I've produced. And but I'm kind of a mixed mutt too because my last name is Scottish. It's Comstock. So
yeah,
there's like all these other there's like mixed things. So from somebody that lives in one country and they have family going back how many generations? You said like 5 or 6 generations of
yeah. At least I
Norwegian.
haven't really looked any further back than that.
Right.
But
But you have a solid anchored in grounded awareness of your lineage there, which is so
yeah,
different. I think that's just
or
fascinating. Yeah.
but I don't think I really belong in this family. Like my soul really belongs into this family. I think I was just placed here because my mother was compatible or something,
Mm.
if you understand.
Yeah, there's definitely see that in families, like there's soul families and different resonance. Like there's some people in my
Yeah,
family.
I've never felt at home with my family, like never gotten along with them, never. Like I do get along with them. It's just like I don't feel like they're my family. I feel like they're just people around me.
Like they were kind of your caretakers growing up or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Have you met family? Have you met tribe people that you know that were part of your collective?
Not not when I was so old that I could remember it. I did meet my grandfather, but he died when I was like 10 or something around there. And he was a really nice guy. My grandmother is still alive, and she was. And another thing, I've always gotten along with old people, like older people, like 70, 60 years old. Like, really resonate with that kind of people.
I can too, actually. I have really strong resonance with that. I have a couple of friends like that.
Yeah.
All right, so I got a couple more, just a
Yeah.
couple more questions left. What has been the most challenging part of following these teachings?
Well, the most challenging things is getting the materials. Uh,
Accessibility.
yeah. I don't know why they have chose to do the things they have done in the recent times. Uh, for example, I don't know if Ashiana is going to be mad at me now, but
She goes by Iesha now.
yeah,
Iesha.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I say all the different variations, but I
Anna
think that
hates.
she should provide the content online instead of selling the discs and mailing them and all that. So that it would be some kind of online streaming service like Netflix, you know?
There is
What I
a conversion of that kind of taking place right now, if you've noticed, like the webinars now and the PDFs files of the manuals that are available for download. So that's kind of in transition, it seems like. It's come a long way from just the workshops where nobody could enter in the middle of the workshop and
Yeah,
security clearance, and now anybody can jump in a webinar anytime. That's really
yeah,
changed.
I really don't agree with that either, because the service that they are using is kind of limiting that you have like a limited time to watch the
Yeah, I've noticed that. What would you
playbacks.
suggest?
I would suggest that you would just do the live stream and then provide the recording afterwards forever in exchange for money, of course.
Instead of like making a nice package of it, packaging it up, and then reselling the live stream.
Yeah.
Re, yeah,
Like they're
I,
doing now, they're just putting the recording into discs and mailing the discs,
yeah. After the
which
live
is,
stream, they make it into a professional workshop that you can
yeah.
buy and everything. Yeah, I kind of can see both angles because I mean it's really good that she's it's
And
sacred enough to do that, to make it into.
also another thing I don't like about it is that there's no other people at the workshops anymore. There's just her. I just don't feel like it has the same frequency. It doesn't have the same collective energy to it, if you understand what I mean by that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well,
Like
all
like
the
she's just talking to a camera and there's like two or three, four people in the room with her. It just
Well, that's what I brought up in Paul's interview, actually, because I was questioning that at that time during KDDL1, that why are we projecting on her property? Like, she's the only one there walking around this house, and we're projecting ourselves at these different, that seemed kind of unusual. And there was such a long time of wait in between that we were projecting and doing these streams over at these anchor points on her property and stuff. But I've kind of moved past that now. I was questioning that then. I can kind of see the dynamics happening.
yeah, I can understand why she's doing that, but I don't understand why she hasn't brought on some kind of audience just because of the
Who? Who would?
I don't know, like a select few
Huh. I see. Yeah. Kind of to get more
people.
of that group feel instead of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we don't get to ask questions. Like I know that it's supposed to be like that, but
Mm,
but it really doesn't happen.
that's a
Like
good point.
like in previous workshops, the audience asked questions in between, and yeah, I really miss that.
Yeah, there was more of like a uh, being a part of it or something. Phil back then in the older workshops,
Yeah,
dance for workshops. They went out to the restaurants after the workshops and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, we've been through so much. There's been so many grid wars and this roller coaster ride of frequency, and it's been too intense. I think at some points during the sliders to even do that. And it's not. I was hearing stories from people at the latter workshops that it just started getting flat out weird. In Tony's interview, he had mentioned that too. That he came
yeah.
to the workshop. And I think that was at the May one during the split, but there was like a build up to that for sure of weirdness before the actual split, and people could feel it. So I kind of see the reason why with that also. But it kind of is, it's taken a turnaround to that time now to where, if we really are self-healing, we could gather again and have peace with this whole situation, move forward together.
Yeah.
People have to want it, it has to be a demand for it. And
Yeah.
I'm really an outreach. That's why I messaged you tonight, because I'm like, I'm feeling it. It's just blasted in my ears from my guardians and my higher right now. Is that it's time right now that you can see the news and all these attempts. You can just kind of see the negative sides just kind of fading from
Yeah.
their attempts, and everything. It's getting weaker and weaker. So I just feel stronger and stronger as they get weaker and weaker, more or less. And it feels like we should
Yeah.
develop a
Me
voice
too.
for that. We should
Yeah, I've
start.
I've been I've been starting to like speak out like to people in public, or not like speak out like, but if they comment on something and then I just comment back that it really is way more advanced than that, and stuff like that. It like, for example, uh, I said to one guy that the economy was going to shit, and that kind of stuff. And I just said it is way more advanced than you can ever know. You don't understand half of it, even if I told you. So,
What was his response? What did he say?
no, it was just like he listened to me, but it didn't go through to him, I think. I explained to him like how money was created out of thin air, and money equals debt, and
Promissory notes.
yeah.
In debt too. There's more people waking up though, and there's a lot of data
Yeah.
dumps happening. Did you see the new X Files? Can't tell
Yeah.
if you're watching a news show sometimes or some kind of. It's getting so like there's sections in movies and TV shows where it's just like
Yeah.
that's the airtime being broadcasted of what they're trying to get people to ease into this awareness of. There's
Mm.
more of a something that stands apart from the regular drama of the show and
Yeah.
stuff. They're showing actual news footage of events and things on X Files, and just yeah, I see it happening. Trying to get people to
Yeah.
talk about it more.
Yeah. I do think that. Yeah.
Think that's how it's going to happen.
Well, I think we're not really evolved enough, because the things that have ruled us for hundreds of years it's the same kind of ideology. Like the things that are on the news, it's not different from what it was 100 years ago. It's just delivered in another method. It's just delivered on a TV instead of a newspaper. You know, like and the issues that are being talked about is not different from anything else. It's just we're not really focusing on the issues that really make sense to talk about.
Who
Like,
is we? Like the mass
yeah,
majority
the
people?
yeah, like the majority of people. Like,
Well, there's like a whole YouTube movement happening of people
yeah, yeah, it
being
is.
awake and activists and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing. But I also think that people should take it with a bit of salt, like moderation and everything.
What are your thoughts on brakes in the Ascension? BRAKES, like brakes on the car. Do you think that there's a specific timing as far as how much people should be allowed to know? and mass hysteria and chaos and stuff? Do you think there's like a divine order that's taking place with the ascension to where they do want to ease them in slowly and gradually?
Well,
They meaning the
yes, that
guardians,
that
I
is
guess.
really a psychologically loaded question, but I do think that most people could handle it if they just got to know absolutely everything in once.
It's getting psychological, isn't it? I mean, it's really coming down to people's psyche and the
Yeah,
discernment that they're using, and in a mass way, the mass
yeah,
psychology of what's being swayed back and forth, because that's what they've always used since. Uh, who was the guy that did the Nazi propaganda? I can't think of his name, but since that whole thread, and that expansion of propaganda and how to sway people, Goebbels, I think, is the lead
yeah,
propaganda guy. So I mean, it's kind of at the epitome of the human psyche right now, in my eyes,
yeah,
from what I've seen. Because you're either falling for it or you're not, pretty much.
yeah. But also personally, I think that I could handle any knowledge that I was given. Like if I was given all the knowledge that Asiana had, and more, even more than what she has, I would still be able to handle it, I think.
You got the storage banks for that, for all of that.
That I don't know. That depends. But I think that there should be some kind of group of people that would be allowed to know everything. Like there wouldn't be so much restriction on the access of information.
You think there's a censorship happening right now, like with the teachings in any way, or with
Yeah, I
certain
think
things
so.
being released, like even uh,
Well, before
governments?
before before the split, it was like an inner group towards that were working around Asiana and that really worked around her and through the workshops and stuff. But I think that has stopped now. I think it's just her and Christian from Norway.
Christian.
No, isn't it? No, I
Oh,
might be wrong.
Andreas.
Yeah, Andreas. Yeah, I found him. But
Okay.
um um yeah, I'm sorry for saying that wrong. Um but yeah, I really think that a large group of people within the chaos community should be able to know a lot more than what is released on the public workshops and stuff like that.
So
I
you're
don't know what your
implying
thoughts are around that.
you're implying that there is a lot more that's being released through her right now.
No, no, I'm not implying that there is, but I
Okay.
I know that it. Well, of course, Asiana says that there is a lot of information that she doesn't get to know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
But on the planet right
that
now, like
it's like that kind of information that what are we not knowing? What are we not allowed to know? Like we should be people who are really connected into KS would be able to handle such information,
well,
don't you
she
think?
she always says that the guardians only give us enough that we can take, and they don't give us anything that doesn't have. If there's a problem, then they're always going to offer the solution to it. So maybe there's like certain equations to where we're not ready to see the solution because it might counteract what's happening, the bigger dynamics. I don't know. I
Yeah.
kind of sense that sometimes, like there's a reasoning behind it.
Yeah, there might be.
I think things are kind of there's a lot of the notion of time released capsules keeps coming in mind too, of like things that were already seeded here and planted but they need to be released naturally in the right time frequencies that are available on the planet to integrate with. That's been my experience lately, especially, and that's why I keep bringing up the breaks. Breaks of ascension, because it feels like that's going to be play a huge role in the future as far as Earth changes and all these different things that could happen with Earth. I think we're going to be taught the mechanics down here. I really do.
Yeah, I think so.
Or we already
I think,
are, but in 3D type stuff. I mean,
yeah,
so I just
I
have.
think that,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, you
Do you
go
want
ahead.
to? I don't know if you wanted to expand on that some more. What has been the most joyful part of the teachings for you in KS?
The most joyful, I don't know, getting to know a lot of new people, I guess.
Like networking, reconnecting?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
like talking to different people that had the same kind of mindset or open-minded people.
How do you apply KS in your daily 3D life? Do you do prayers and text daily, or what do you do to integrate KS?
Well, that's
So that you
kind of
talk to other people about it. That's part of it.
yeah. I really don't. I have tried, but I always forget. I always forget to do prayers and stuff
Consistently.
like that
Yeah.
every day. But I do try, and I always when I have a problem in my daily life, I always think of something. There's something for that, and there's something that can solve that, and there's for example, like yesterday or something, there was like a plant that was dying in the kitchen downstairs, and I was thinking like, there's something I can do about that. There's a song I can do for that. So yeah, I do really try to incorporate it in my daily life. And also, I said earlier that whenever I had like some kind of nausea or uh, puking sensation, I would, um, for example, I don't remember the full song right now, but Elisha Alhumbra, that that line, I don't remember it anymore.
So, Song of Arias, I think, or the Prayer of
Yeah,
Arias. Yeah,
yeah.
Alhambra Prayer, something.
Just repeating that would help. Like just saying Alhumbra Elisha, Alhumbra Elisha. Yeah, I don't know what more I can say about that.
Okay. So, what has been the most important dream that you've had since coming into KS?
Most important dream?
Yeah, that can be like dream, as in a dream that an actual dream, or maybe like a vision or something.
Well, that I have already talked about that. I had a dream where I was taken into a
Oh, that
portal.
that's the
Yeah,
biggest. Yeah, definitely.
yeah. And other than that, I had kind of a vision. Like I wondered what the universe looked like, and it just popped into my head. Like I had like a vision, like I just saw it like a holographic image. Like it was kind of like a donut, but there's like things that cannot be said that I understood at that moment. Like there was like some complex understanding that was going on right there. That I think it was the biggest revelation I had.
What do you feel like you'll be doing in the future, like with computers and stuff? Do you think you're doing bridging type things with the technology, or what do you see?
Yeah, I can't see myself working with anything else than computers. But I also want to do something for the KS community. So
You could
I,
probably
I really,
contribute a lot, uh, programming and stuff.
yeah. Well, not necessarily, but like I could be a speaker if you want me to do that. Like I just need permission or I need a contract to do that. Like
What do
I
you mean like speaker? Like you would do
no,
like seminars and stuff, like
yes,
teaching
yes,
downstairs?
yes.
Yeah, yeah, right.
But I don't have any I don't have any
There used to be Cathar team people that would go
yeah,
out and do that. There was a whole network for that. Maybe there will be again after everything's all settled.
yeah.
So it seems kind of natural, I guess.
Yeah, I don't have any connection with anyone, so I cannot do that right now. So
Right.
because I would have to know a little bit more than I know now.
Well, you're kind of like in the same boat that me and
Like
Tony are.
I know a lot of stuff. It's just how to say it. I don't know how to say it.
Oh, I see. Connection like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you meant connection as in somebody in the core to work with to be able to actually do it official or something.
No, I mean
No,
like
your own connection.
some other being or that kind of either extraterrestrial or my higher self or some guardian or something else. I know that there is something. I know that my higher self is communicating a lot of stuff through me, but I cannot get a clear answer when I'm talking to it, you know?
Hmm.
I cannot I can when other people ask me a question, I can come up with an answer that I don't really know. Like I could tell you something that I don't know. I have never learned something. Like that happens a lot. That people ask me like, "How do you do this?" and "Why is that?" And then I just blurt it out, and it's correct when I check it, but I don't know if when I'm saying it, I don't know if it is correct. You understand?
Just kind of stream the answer out or something.
Yeah,
You don't really have control of it, of when to do
yeah,
it. It's sporadic. Or,
yeah. So I would really would like more of a direct connection to something.
well, that's what this work is really all about: is developing a strong line to your hires. It goes all the way back to flame body, and when you're forming your aura into a flame, so the tip is a direct conduit to the density above, and the Vecca codes and everything, unlocking the density logs and stuff.
Yeah.
So work with that some more. I'm sure you'll get it. That definitely helped me along the way. So we'll go ahead and end the interview here. I like to just close it on what you would have to share to people like newcomers, or if you even have a message in general to leave people with about KS, I guess.
Well, firstly, I would just like to say that there's a lot to learn from it, from chaos. Uh, no matter where you come from or what kind of beliefs you have from before, there's a lot to learn, even if you don't believe any of the stuff that's taught. And well, there's a lot of knowledge that comes with it that you don't notice it when you're watching it or learning it. When you're watching the workshops, for example, there's a lot of knowledge that comes with it that doesn't come with the workshop, but it comes automatically when you understand this one thing. You understand 10 other things. And if you are skeptic towards chelantic science, then before you judge, go through it all. Because I've seen hundreds of people that just, no, I don't want to watch it. Like, I don't want to see any of it. And I asked one guy that was blind on one eye, and he was into the Kabbalah teachings, and I think he saw One World Order workshop, and he just said to me the next day, he just said me, "This woman is crazy." Like, how can you even say that? You don't know half of it. Like, you have to uh, you have to understand the whole concept before you judge. That's all I have to say, actually.
Excellent.
If you don't have any more, I can add upon. I don't know.
No, that's really good. I agree with that too. All right. Well, thanks. Thanks for your time. I guess we'll go ahead and end it right there. I appreciate it.
Uh, I hope I answered everything you wanted to know. I feel like there's more, but
There's
I really
always more.
don't know.
Yeah, there's always
I
more.
really don't know what